what is going on in the world? If you spend an hour watching CNN or Fox News, your tensions will be so high. Your fear will be raised to such crazy levels. And underneath it, the whole time you're wondering, can I even believe what they're saying? Because if you look on social media, you'll find all sorts of different ideas out there. And some people call them conspiracy theories, and some people say it's the truth as far as the lockdowns in Victoria, Australia, and the contrails in the sky. And people are talking about world police organizations and the threat of the second wave of corona and what'll happen if Biden's president or what'll happen if Trump is president. There's so much fear in the world, you can feel it. Every night, Riley and I talk about kind of the stuff that we've heard during the day or the stuff that we've seen on our phones, and it just creates so much tension. And so today, the question that I want to address is, how do we handle the fear? How do we handle the fear of getting sick or losing a loved one to COVID? How do we handle the fear of the things that we know will happen if the wrong candidate is elected? How do we handle the fear of being so out of control and wondering, what's the truth? What's actually happening out there? What's around the corner? Well, the answer comes from one of the bravest men in the Bible. Joshua was such an amazing warrior. He was a slave who walked through the Red Sea right next to Moses. He actually sat on Mount Sinai with Moses. He was so close to God. He would commune with God in the special tent that Moses would talk to God with. And after Moses could not cross the Jordan River, it was Joshua who led them into the promised land. It was Joshua who met God, dressed up as a warrior, and received the instructions for taking down Jericho. It was Joshua who called the sun to stand still in the sky and hailstones to fall out and kill his enemies. It was Joshua who conquered kingdoms and armies much larger and much more powerful than him. And at the very end of his life, his last official words to his people, to his army, to his veterans, to the next generation was simple. Choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. You see, I don't have control over the political elections. I don't have control over where we're going to be forced to wear masks or not. I don't have control over what's happening in the world, but I do have control over my choice of where I put my focus on. Joshua said, choose this day whom you will serve. Will it be your fears? Will it be the gods of the nations we've defeated? Will it be your selfish desires? Or will it be the Lord? The Lord who can make the sun stand still, the Lord who sends hailstones to kill our enemies, the Lord who parted the Red Sea and the Jordan River, the Lord who knocked down the walls of Jericho, the Lord who freed us from slavery and brought us into this good land. Who will you serve? Who will you focus on? Who will you talk about? Who will you be super connected to? So what do we do with the fear? Well, we don't need to be ostriches and put our heads in the sand and pretend like everything's okay. Instead of talking about our problems, instead of talking about our fears, instead of focusing on all the things that are going wrong, we have got to choose this day whom we will serve. We've got to look up. We've got to say, you know what? Coronavirus is crazy, but Jesus is the ultimate healer. The politics are crazy, but God knows what is best. The world may come to a crazy end, but at the end of the world, Jesus wins. You see, God's people have faced many crises before. Esther's entire nation was supposed to be killed. And she said, I choose to serve God. And she spent 3 days in prayer before she went and saved her people. And that principle happens over and over and over again, where the good people, God's chosen people, are about to be wiped out. And we're not even there. Like, the world is crazy for us, but it's not that bad yet. But what did God's people do? Instead of focusing on their enemies and their fears and their weaknesses, they chose to serve God. You see, if you're serving God and you die, you're a martyr for the faith. If you choose to serve God and he does a miracle and redeems you and saves you, then you've got a great story of faith to share. You see, when we choose God, it's a win-win situation. There is no losing if you're a Christian. It doesn't matter what happens in the world and in the politics and in our cities and in our streets. If we choose God like Joshua, we will be conquerors. So today, no matter what happens, no matter what you face, no matter what's in the news, choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord because God's got this. God bless.